Today we meet in Tantanya, Adelaide, on the traditional lands of the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains, and we extend our respects to Kaurna elders past and present. We recognise this country's rich traditions of knowledge and storytelling and pay respects to all Kaurna storytellers and all Aboriginal and First Nations storytellers. Amy And is a podcast that explores all kinds of bookish things, and that can include some pretty adult content. So please be aware that some of this content will be not safe for work or for young ears, and be careful who's listening when you are. Welcome back to Amy And. I'm Amy Matthews, and I'm introducing the rest of our cast. Well, you've already met Abby. Abby's back. Hi, Abby.
Hey.
But we're introducing a couple more and the cat, who I'm not sure if you can see my cat, but she's going to join us as well. And so the last two members you have to meet are Harry Stewart.
The last two members. Just the dregs at the bottom of the barrel. Here they are.
Left the best till last, guys. So Harry Stewart and Payton Hogan.
Hi.
So Abby's going to help me quiz you about yourselves.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
cool. This is news to me.
Shit.
But before we do, the others, because they were so, quiet about themselves, I made them come up with 3 words to describe you. I think they got 4 or 5. But I would like you to help me come up with words to describe them. So if we could
this is going to be good.
we could describe Justina in like 3 or 4 words. Dad, as in the dad jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I couldn't think of a different way to put that.
Yeah,
When you
it's
one
first
word.
started saying dad, I wasn't quite sure where you were going.
We'll stop it there.
She is the queen of dad jokes.
Yeah.
I've never heard better dad jokes in
No.
my life. Yeah.
I'd say astute.
Astute.
Yes.
Astute.
Multifaceted.
Yes.
Ooh.
Very true.
Interdisciplinary.
Yeah.
I love saying that word.
Yeah.
Go,
I'm going to say diplomatic. I've never seen, and maybe this is the editing background, I reckon. Justina can be so blunt with you in the nicest way. You just say, thank
Yes.
you.
very true.
Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that.
I'm
I
a better
was wrong.
person
It's a
because of
it's a
you.
cushioned
Thank you.
a cushioned knife.
You're
Yeah.
right. That was completely wrong about all
Christina
those
looks
things.
so uncomfortable.
She is behind the camera, so she's loving this. All right. And what about our friend Millie?
Gentle.
Oh, gentle's good. I was going
Yeah.
to say very caring.
Yes.
2 words. So
Yeah.
Chef.
Right. Well,
Caring is just.
caring
Yeah.
assist. Yep. Gentle caring assist.
gentle caring.
Empathetic.
Millie's very
Empathetic.
caring. Gentle's good. Damn, I should have come up with gentle. Gentle's.
It's all team effort.
We'll edit that yours out. Gentle.
I don't know the word I'm thinking of, but she's kind of like a solo warrior. Like, like Millie will go away and do the most amazing things quietly on her own and then be like, ta-da!
Oh,
done
yeah,
this
modest.
incredible
Yeah.
thing.
Very modest as
Yeah.
well.
That was not
Previous-
1 word. That was like 50 words.
That was,
But-
yeah.
The previous episode was the first time I finally actually heard about Millie's first
Oh,
PhD.
because you started
Fascinating.
after she finished.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I'm excited to see Millie do the second one and see how she works, how she operates.
Yeah. I think
fun.
actually you guys might be quite similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It's a very creative process.
Yeah.
That's how I describe
Compliment.
you. I didn't throw that in the last one, but maybe someone did say creative with you.
Well, I suppose we're all creative.
I guess so.
Everybody's so creative. I think we all sing. I'll stop quoting things.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Well, so now.
Sorry, Justin. Anyways.
Anyway, so while we've got you, Payton, do you want to tell us about your background, your research? Where do you come from? What do you do?
Sure. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Creative Writing and Sociology and then Creative Writing Honours. And now I'm doing a PhD. Like everyone else, mine's split into the creative artifact and the exegesis. So I'm writing a book that's satirizing health and wellness misinformation. And then my exegesis is about satire and empathy. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll put empathetic for you as well, man.
You
How
are
about
empathetic. You are very empathetic.
you are. Harry, what about you? How would you describe yourself?
I would describe. Well, first I'm going to describe Abby as well. I forgot to
Oh.
describe
We
Abby.
did
Ah.
did we?
Yes.
Oh, we didn't because you.
That
were
was
the
fine. I was
last
sitting here
one.
quietly
Yeah, I
hoping
was
no
like,
one would.
no, you're not
Good one,
escaping
Harry. She
this.
almost escaped.
No
Okay, congrats about Abby.
way.
She's got to sit here and
I
be
know, I
filmed.
Yeah.
I would describe Abby before I describe myself as brilliant because I do think that Abby is very brilliant.
Very true.
What's your word? What would you say?
I
Go
don't
for
know
a
how to
throat punch.
describe this.
She's good at clapping.
Very good clapper.
Strong clapper.
Strong clapping.
Strong clapper. Yeah.
I don't know how to describe Abby's sense of humor, but I love it.
Oh.
It's very dry.
Yeah. Very dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Abby's honesty. It's like the best kind of honesty. It's
Totally different from Justina's.
Yes.
Because Abby just says it, but with such a, like, you're so frank, but in such a, like, lovely way. I'm also never offended. I'm just like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Shit.
Well, I'm glad you're not offended. It's like my worst nightmare, I think, is offending someone.
Really?
Yeah. I
I
care
would
too
not have
much
said
about what
that
people
about you.
think. No, I care a lot about what people think.
I don't think that always comes. Like, I think he's always seemed quite poised.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, well, yeah. I
Poised
mean,
is a
I
good
know
word,
that.
Abby.
Well, yeah. If I was to like say that really hurt my feelings, you would be really apologetic.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
Sometimes good
How
move.
about you though?
Yeah, I was about to say I got away with that one.
Yeah. Did you even introduce yourself in the last one? I don't
No, I
think
just
you
said
did.
I'm Amy Matthews. Let's just assume people can Google it.
Just Amy Matthews. No titles.
Oh, Amy Barry as well. We
No-
could say Amy Barry.
No title that goes in front of
Just
Amy
assume.
Matthews.
Just all of them. Lots of people.
To our listeners, it's Associate Professor.
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
Matthews.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. How would you, one word to describe me then? Busy.
Busy. Yeah.
Oh my god, yes. Very busy. Funny.
Yeah. Very funny.
I had a review once that was, I think she's trying to be funny. It's like, oh, burn.
That's brutal.
Oh, she
I've never
was
thought-
trying to be funny. She was.
And she gave it a good crack.
Everybody has the same.
She put it
humour.
back into
I
that
thought
one.
I'd say masterful.
Yes.
Would be a word that I describe you because
Yeah.
it encompasses all of the things that you do.
I
Instead
don't
of
know
being
that
like
I
you're
have
busy.
mastery over things though. I just
Oh, I
think
think
I
you have
have enthusiasm.
Yes, you are enthusiasm.
A lot
Another
of
word I'll
things.
add is anxious.
Anxious is definitely one of them.
Call you masterful,
yeah,
and you're like,
like-
no
I mean, like-
mastery here.
Yes, like I would never do a podcast by myself. I need to have
That's why
people
we're all
around
here.
me. You're like my support animal.
Why you pulled in 6 of us.
If you were a support animal, what animal would you be?
People have described me as a husky.
Oh,
I
it's
see
the
that.
eyes. It's the eyes. Loud.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I see it.
Energetic.
maybe.
Yeah.
That's nice. I either get golden retriever or I get like some sort of lizard.
I don't think
like a
I would-
reptile.
oh,
like
no.
I slither around. I'm like,
No, I wouldn't.
Is that their way of calling you a snake?
yeah.
Yeah, I see. I don't think I'd do reptile or
Deceptive.
a golden retriever
No.
for you. You'd be
Yeah.
something more complex.
He would
Oh.
be an oodle.
An oodle.
Yeah, are we going
A
with dogs?
genetically modified breed of dog.
No, because
I think he could be like a pirate's
Pretentious.
parrot.
A pirate
I can
parrot.
imagine you sitting on someone's shoulder
parrot.
making little asides.
Yeah.
What about a beaver? I feel like you would.
I really think.
I don't think I've ever
that-
seen it.
I don't know that.
Beaver.
I don't know that Harry would know what a beaver was.
You would
Payton.
very meticulously build a dam. I feel.
Justina said gay in the first episode, so I just don't think that
Beavers are very beige.
yes. Harry
They're
would
home
shoot.
teeth. But they do.
Oh my
they take
gosh.
care of them, and I do
Sweet.
take care of my teeth.
What
yeah.
kind of emotional support animal would you be?
Oh, maybe like a Labrador. I feel like they're kind of like a golden retriever, but I don't have golden retriever energy. I feel like a
No, I don't
Labrador's
think
more-
you have golden retriever energy.
No.
Aren't
I in
Labradors
my
kind of crazy though?
they are. I feel like my problem is in my head I'm going practicality of a service animal.
Yeah, right.
Labrador is a service
See, that's
animal.
so,
golden
oh
retriever's
yeah,
where
okay.
I
So
just need
she'd
to
be
pick an
something
animal.
practical.
She would be something
What about a
practical.
German
yeah.
Shepherd?
Oh, they're a
man.
little
Bit
bit
stringent.
tainted by the past. I think the German Shepherd.
Well, yeah, it's very true.
Oh.
Very true. Same with the Belgian
Got some
Malinois.
loading.
Maybe like a border collie.
Oh, yeah, I can see
Yeah,
this.
or a cattle dog.
My parents always compare me because I own a border collie. They always compare me to the border collie, as in she's the smartest dog we own. but like the dumbest dog I've ever met.
So what we're going to learn on this podcast is when we bring Abby on, we'll end up talking about animals.
I'm
a
so
lot.
sorry. We
Yeah,
finished
very
last time, and now we're talking about.
And
You brought up
it's-
service animals.
It was my fault. But like the whole thing about podcast with benefits is really a podcast with digressions.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
It's-
as we have digressed, because Harry never introduced himself.
Yeah. What do you do, Harry?
oh yeah, I write gay romance, and I'm looking at how I think the romance formula and the genre in the 21st century is broken because it can't be adapted to
And
include queer
specifically
novels.
male.
Yeah, specifically male and male gay male romance. Yeah,
They're
between two
coming
men.
off the shelves, I've noticed, in bookstores. They're like less and less of them. I don't know
Why?
what's happening. It's just been happening slowly over
Very
the past couple of
interesting.
years. Like, part of it is that I suppose people aren't buying very many of them,
Yeah, fair.
but then
But are they getting it online? Like, are you buying it on your Kindle, not going into
Yeah.
the store?
True.
So
Yeah.
Payton, just for context, Payton works in a bookstore.
yes.
Yeah, Payton doesn't sit and watch bookshelves.
She doesn't just like
Yeah.
loiter and
Go and
spy
check
on
every
people.
day.
spy on people and go
Tally
"Do-
up.
Just see her head emerging from behind the bookshelves.
yeah, another
Are
no
you buying
queers.
another
Oh,
straight
interesting.
novel? Okay.
yeah, exactly. Just touching at the end of the aisle.
That's the third one you bought this month. That's a bit weird.
Yes. Very odd.
You know, there are people who there must be some kind of like businessy MLM thing going on, but there are people who lurk in the business section to chat to people who also start browsing, and it's so awkward to watch.
What?
And I think
No.
they're trying to sign them up for something.
Are they, or is this like some kind of weird like bro dude dating thing?
I don't know.
I have seen videos of men who go into, and they like put it on TikTok. They go into like bookstores, and they're like, "I'm going to see if I can,
Yeah.
pick up a woman." And it's like,
Yes.
what?
It's so weird.
The other
the
one it was
fuck?
to, I remember this like 5-10 years ago, was to guys going into bars and sitting there and reading a book
Oh.
because they thought girls would like it.
You see that TikTok
So
thing about that
strange.
guy that said that he was scared of reading books?
Yes.
Oh, why? What
That
do you
most
think would
recent-
happen?
He said, he was like, when you give me a book, I get like scared, like, like, I don't know what it is, but I'm not interested in it. Maybe it's my fear of books. I was like,
Yeah. I've
Oh
never
my
read a
Lord.
book in my life.
I've never read a book in my life, and I just don't.
Yeah.
And then he started crying about being rejected.
I know the exact.
Oh.
I
So
know
you think you could have learned some emotional resilience from book reading?
yeah, I don't know.
I know the exact situation you're talking about. And so someone recommended books to him, but she sent him a whole variety of resources, which he doesn't mention. He could have listened to so many podcasts that she sent him. He could have listened to audiobooks. He could have just looked up a blog. But he
Is
focused on the
this-
book thing. He was like, but I can't read.
Is this the same dude who? Now we're really digressing.
Yeah, we're now down the benefit.
Is this the same dude who sent that voicemail to the girl?
Yes.
Because she doesn't like. She actively talks about her bad experiences with men online, and
Yeah.
he sent her a voicemail and said, "I feel like we should catch up and get coffee, and I can like show you
I'll
that
set
men
you
are
straight."
actually
Yeah.
really nice,
I
something
can
like that."
I can show that it's not all men. And,
Yeah.
don't you don't want to be thinking like this for the rest of your life, do you? Is what he says in the voicemail. I was like,
So
like it,
odd.
like her personal experience. And then
I love that her
he
response
used
was
his
to be
thing.
like, "Here are all of the resources
Yeah.
to
I
rethink
don't know,
that."
pick up a
Started
fucking
crying.
book.
He's like, actually, no, I
Aw.
don't want to learn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
well,
odd.
I think you should pick up our book of the month. Do
Yeah.
a
Well,
nice
yeah.
little segue. That was
Oh, yeah.
not
Yeah.
badly done.
Can you
So Pride
imagine?
and Prejudice.
Never picked up a book in his life and picks up Jane Austen's
Yeah,
Pride and the
well.
Prejudice. Oh,
Sit in a bar reading that and see what happens.
yes.
So
Exactly.
we're all going to be diving into Jane Austen a little bit this month. Although we haven't done much deep diving, we've done lots of talking about fish and other weird
Yeah.
things. But
Important stuff.
so have Abby? We've made clear Abby has not read any Jane Austen. How about
Still
you guys?
haven't read Jane Austen, no.
Yes,
I'm
my,
so
well, my,
excited.
Started
for you.
now.
Yeah, yes.
Because we've only got a
A
couple
couple
of
weeks
to
before
go.
the book club, yes, so
It's a big
definitely
book.
began.
I don't know if it is actually. Excuse me.
it's only like 200 and something pages though.
Yeah, it's
Prejudice was
it's
not
quite
very
a
big.
chunky book. Like it's not a small book.
I never found though, like, because
That looks like more than 200 pages, Harry.
Well, the Penguin
It's because
edition
your
I'm holding
version- oh,
is
we don't have that.
427 pages.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
Right.
small pages.
Did not know
Get
that.
on with it.
In fairness, I have the big book. So
Oh,
that would be
okay.
about 200 pages because of page size difference.
Yeah. That's the ticket.
That is the ticket.
Yeah.
I've read Pride and Prejudice and I've read Emma, but I
Yeah.
have not read any of the others. And Emma is my favorite.
So why do you like Emma?
I like Emma because she's such an entertaining protagonist. In a way, like, it's got all of the beauty of Pride and the Prejudice in it. It's got the setting, it's got the language, it's got all of that. But Emma herself is very, sometimes, not problematic, but like, she's just very engaging. And
Yeah,
I
she's
kind
not a like ideal perfect person.
no. And I've always loved characters that lean more towards the morally grey. And Emma is definitely far further toward that than Lizzie Bennet is. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Payton?
I've read all of them. I haven't read the completed version of Sanditon yet because I'm worried that because it
Because it wasn't her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Have you ever read that one?
No, I've got it on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
But it's one of the ones
Who
I
did
haven't.
finish it? That's something I don't
I
know.
actually don't know. I can
Was it the
Google
sister?
I feel
Cassandra?
like it was finished
Recently.
Who-
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they made the TV series too.
Yeah.
While Peyton's Googling, I'm going to ask Carrie and Abby, could you name all of Jane Austen's books? There are only 6 finished published ones.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yep.
Emma. Just because Harry just mentioned those two. No, I'm kidding.
Sense and Sensibility, Persuasion, and
They're literally on the pile
And
here.
the
so-
first one.
something Park.
Mansfield
Mansfield
Park.
Mansfield
Park,
Park.
and there's one
Northanger
more.
Abbey.
Northanger Abbey,
North-
well done.
That's the one. That's the first
Then we've got Sanditon and the Watsons, and then there's some juvenilia as well.
The Watsons
yeah,
I
yeah.
had the Watsons I had not heard of until you mentioned it just before.
Yeah, I've never read it.
Yeah, interesting.
Juliet Shapiro. From the looks of it.
Ah, Ben
Finished
Shapiro's
Sanditon.
sister.
Yes.
Very interesting.
I know he secretly loves Jane Austen.
A liberal and a conservative in the same family.
Did you hear him talking about Wicked? He's a complex man.
You should also read Pride and Prejudice. So last week I asked the team what was the original title for Pride and Prejudice, but did you know Sense and Sensibility had a different original title too?
Yes, but I can't remember.
Can you take a guess what it might be?
Oh.
They weren't similar at all, were they?
I'm
They're
going to
very
say
different. So the original Pride and Prejudice was First Impressions, but this one's totally different.
slow
Very
love.
unimaginative.
Slow love and ballroom dancing.
Slow love and ballroom dancing. That's
It's
a
just
good one.
called Take a Turn Around the Room.
Strictly ballroom.
It was actually just called Eleanor and Marion.
Oh.
Oh, that's kind of nice though.
Come
I
on,
kinda
Jane.
like that.
Come on, Jane.
But
Yeah, I feel like the publisher was like, we could do better.
You're boring.
These older, like, what would we call them? Alternate titles. They
Yep.
seem a lot simpler than what the original,
What the
what they
final
named
was.
it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So here's a question. Jane Austen famously was a spinster, right? But did fall in love once, did have a proposal of marriage. So she once accepted a proposal from a man for one night. She broke it off the next day, right? And that man had a ridiculously English name. What do you think his name was?
George.
George.
You said Rupert?
Rupert George.
The fifth.
Yeah.
George
Oh.
Lieutenant Rupert George.
I'm going to say Edward Frank
Sir.
Gilberton.
His name was Harris Bigg-Wither.
I didn't go weird enough. I didn't go weird enough.
I feel like he belongs in Smut Month.
Big what?
That's so funny. My mother's maiden name is Harris, so maybe I'm related to Harris.
maybe you
Big-
are.
Oh no, but I'd have to
That
be
could be your
Bigg-Wither.
pseudonym. You could
Harry
be
Bigg-Wither.
Harry Bigg-Wither.
Now we know why she turned down the proposal. She didn't want to be Jane, Bigg-Wither.
Bigg-Wither.
Oh.
Imagine. And if she hyphenated Jane Austen Bigg-Wither.
Yeah. Did she have
Oh.
a middle name? I don't know.
Don't know. Her mother's name was Cassandra and her sister's name was Cassandra. So maybe it was Cassandra.
Millie's shaking her head. No, Jane did not have a middle name.
No middle name.
Interesting.
Oh,
Do you guys have
Is it
middle
simple?
names?
my middle
Yes.
name happens to be Jane.
Oh,
Named after
Have
Jane
Jane.
Austen,
I didn't know
surely.
Named after my mother's middle name. But
I feel like Cassandra's kind of a dramatic, epic name. And then you've got
Yeah.
Jane.
Jane.
Jane Cassandra Austen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to go up with it.
Yeah.
So do you have a favourite Austen adaptation?
It's so hard to choose. Because I read them all last year, and each one I read, I went, that's my favorite. And I think the last one I read was Emma, so almost by default, that one became my favorite. But
My
it could have been
favourite's
any of them.
Persuasion. And just so everyone can see at home, this is like the best cover. It's so good. It is the trashiest of trashy. What year do you reckon that is? What do you think? 1960s, 1970s? Guess a date. It's so good. I love it.
Is it either the 60s or the 70s? Or can we
Just
go?
pick a date.
Just pick a date.
From some, I reckon it's that era. Was my guess.
It looks
Yeah.
pretty- I want to say like 68.
1960. Sorry.
Did you guys?
That was my
Plan?
19. I'll go
aggression.
1967 then.
72.
72. You're gonna hate him because it's 1968.
I knew
very
it.
much.
Oh, you were both
Just the
gonna say
eyeliner and the purple and the fact that the hero looks like the ghost of what is that? The ghost of Mrs. Muir. Did you ever see that movie?
The
No.
ghost
It's got
one.
like this whole vibe. Yeah, Minister classics. I love old books. I could just comb through secondhand
Oh,
books.
I
and get them.
agree.
Yeah.
Have you got yours, Harry?
No,
bought a
mine's
really
up
cool
on the
one.
thing up there.
You'll have
but
to
it's-
bring
See
that
Harry's.
to book club.
Yes,
Harry,
I will bring it. to
Harry
book
has his family copy, which is like so old.
It's
It's
like
falling
my
apart. It's
great grandmother's
beautiful.
copy, which is like 1932.
So special.
Yeah, we worked out
Yeah.
it was like 100 years old.
It's like, yeah, nearly 100 years old or just over 100 years old. It's like family history. And I got told, do not take it out of the house.
And you did.
And I put it in the front of my bag when I was on the phone with Abby.
And so not only have you done it, you've put on the internet that you've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay
Oh,
though.
Harry.
Look, to be completely honest, I doubt my family will watch our podcast.
Hi, Harry's family.
They hate the.
I'm
they
just
hate
going to
the
send
arts.
them a
No.
clip of that specifically.
Hey?
I'll just send them that
I
specific
just send them
clip.
that. Just get their phone
So
numbers.
while we've been chatting, our little fact checker, Millie, Dr. Mills, has revealed that Jane was the only one not to have a middle name.
So sad.
Yeah. She did that via telepathy, obviously.
Yes.
She didn't actually speak.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. Yeah.
We're all in tune
We
with
are.
each other.
Yep.
I get that now. Took me a second. Amy,
Harry's out of the
masterful.
telepathy loop.
See, Amy's masterful.
Harry's getting there.
Yeah, he's coming along. Does anyone want to share Justina's amazing dad joke?
Oh, you'll nail the delivery.
Oh, hang on. Wait, now I have to remember it. I'm forgetful, remember?
Well, his
Big-
name's
Big
Harris
Wither.
Bigg-Withers.
Bigg-Wither. No, I'm not going to deliver it properly.
Bigg-Wither, what's it like without her?
Bigg-Wither, I hardly know her.
It's the
Yeah,
fact
I can
that he's
top
got such an outrageous last name, but then his first name is Harris.
Harris.
You know, it's
Maybe
like,
he wanted to take Jane's
Big with
name.
a double G, by the way. He's got double G.
oh, big
Harris.
good,
Big.
go with her.
Yeah.
Just to
But he wasn't
emphasise.
with her in the end.
No, he
It
wasn't
was all
with
a
her.
lie.
So perhaps it was small after
Yeah.
Big without her. So he changed his name to after he got rejected. What do you think she dreamt about the night that she changed her mind about the proposal?
Yeah, I wonder why she did. Like, because
Too
she
much
really
tipple.
believed that you should have affection for your partner. What was it about him that turned her off?
He probably had bad breath.
Maybe he kissed her after they,
Yeah.
you know, where it said yes. Maybe she said yes, and then he kissed her, and she's like, "Oh, none of that."
No.
So true, because that is a good defining moment. If you don't like a kiss with somebody, you do tend to be like,
What makes
Yeah.
a bad kiss?
Bad breath. Cavities.
bad breasts, cavities, yep.
Sloppy wetness.
Sloppy wetness.
Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes it's not just the mouth; it's what they do with the hands.
True.
You know, like if somebody grabs you for a kiss, you're always like, "That's a bit
Ugh.
fucking
I
intense."
feel like
That's it,
every
that's-
episode we're going to be like, and that should have probably been in smut.
yeah. don't
Everything
put
should
your
be
hands on
smart.
someone's face. I think I don't want you touching my
Clammy
cheeks when you're kissing me.
hands.
Yeah, Harry
Clammy
paid a lot of
hands.
money for those cheeks.
Yes, thank you very
Well
much.
looked after.
Laser, don't put your hands on them. They should wash.
Right. So, do you have any fun facts about Austen you'd like to share?
I feel like all of them were said in the past episode.
I have done research since my last episode.
Wow.
No,
She's a good girl.
I heard that she didn't write for a 10-year period.
Wow.
When? At what point?
Was that when she was sick? Wasn't she sick?
Her family. So the assumption is that when her family moved to Bath, which we've discussed, she hates Bath. She stopped
Her
writing.
ghost is not in Bath.
Yes.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
stopped writing for 10 years.
That makes sense. Bath.
I know that she wasn't worth a lot when she died, and that like all of her possessions were only worth at the time like 800 quid or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Apparently
And it
her
wasn't like-
sister like
it was a lot.
burned all of her
Letters.
letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it one of her brothers that was big on preserving? Like it was only
Yeah,
one family
One
member
of
that
her
really
brothers.
cared.
Yeah, who outed her all the time about that's Jane Austen. Like,
That's so sweet.
I guess, unless he wanted to monetize it, you never know.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't out
controlling
of
thing.
you never
pride.
know.
Yeah.
But then, like, okay, so the burning of the letters. Like, I know every Austen researcher ever has wished that Cassandra didn't burn the letters. But would you want your private correspondence out there? Like all your texts to your best friend?
No.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe if you embargoed it for like a century or something,
Yeah.
put it in a time capsule.
I don't know. What's she saying? You know.
On the one hand, nothing is real. I'm not even real. I don't exist. Whatever. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Who gives a fuck?
Do whatever you want. I'm not around to care.
Yeah, right. So, but that would be like you don't care about reputation. But if you lived back then when reputation was such a thing,
Yeah.
like what did she get up to? What is said in those letters that she didn't want anyone to know?
Yeah.
True, but like that's kind of beautiful, right? That we can admire the work and we can admire what we do know, but that we don't have to taint it. You know,
Okay,
maybe,
so that's a
maybe
really
Austen's work-
interesting question
Yeah.
on its own. Is this idea of authorship that we're so obsessed, particularly in the current era, she says on a podcast named after her. But you know, in the current era where we want to meet the author and know the author and
get into their lives and all this personal shit that's attached to what we do. Like, where were they when they wrote this? You're like, who gives a fuck? The book's
and you
good,
want to know,
know?
yeah. So this diving into, does it matter?
Does it? I don't think it does.
It's never mattered to me. I don't know anything about anyone.
I
who
don't want
produces
to know
anything that I
about my
consume.
favorite people. I'm
No.
worried
Yeah.
I'll be sad about them.
It's the same with the
Yeah.
inviting to dinner. I wouldn't invite them to dinner
You
because I think they're
they
going to
can
be
invite
awful.
you to dinner though.
They can invite me to dinner, yeah, 100%, because I'm delightful.
Yeah, you do keep the conversation moving. I will say that.
But if I was to invite my like some of the people that I love, you know, like that I idolize, what if they're fucking awful?
Yeah.
I know.
And then I don't want to ever read a Tolkien book ever again.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
like
because he was an asshole.
What if they're awful, Tolkien?
Tolkien?
Yeah, we all knew who Harry was talking about.
You're quite shy, don't you?
I think what you think he'd be shy.
Yeah, I think.
I think he not if we brought him back to life. I think he'd have a shit ton to say. You're like, I've been down there for years.
Didn't
It's
like that
cold.
Rings of Power one bit.
No.
Just assume that
He's in
Tolkien.
hell.
You think he's in
Oh,
hell?
100%.
Just straight up.
There's some awful stuff. See, that's the thing that comes out after the books.
But you went and read
About
about him
things.
then, so if you do want to know,
Yeah, that's true.
did you watch the movie, the one about him meeting his wife?
Yeah, that shitty war movie that they made.
The
with
shitty
Nicholas,
war movie.
What's his
you
name
could-
in it? Yeah.
There's the review from Harry.
When he's sitting in the trenches and he sees the silhouette of Sauron above the thing. Yeah, that's what it was. He came out and said that none of it was an allegory for the World Wars.
yeah,
himself.
Justina just did a look behind camera, and I'm with Justina. I'd be like, it's in there somewhere.
It's definitely in there, but we can make allegories out of lots.
Yeah, I always think my books are smarter than I am, so just read the book.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
Just
hearing
read the
about craft stuff. I like hearing about people's processes.
Apparently, Jane
Yeah.
Austen was a terrible speller and really bad at grammar. Apparently, the manuscripts are just a mess.
That
Anything
actually
is
makes me feel
possible
really
for
good.
anyone. Never give up on your dreams, folks.
Never
Yeah.
give up on dreams, yeah.
Keep
Can't
it
write a
true.
sentence? Maybe you can write a book.
Good.
You know?
Yeah. She probably misspelled Eleanor and Marianne as well when she did the titles.
Yeah,
They were like,
and when they
"Oh."
said Sense and Sensibility, she said, can you write that one out? That's a bit... Prejudice? What the fuck does prejudice mean? Just throw it on the cover. Like indecipherable mess that Jane puts in. And
It's
it
like I
publishes
before E. I don't know.
every time the publisher's like, here we go.
All right, I tried to come up with a Payton style question too.
Oh.
So ready?
Mhm.
If Jane Austen went out with us to karaoke, what would she sing?
Sweet Caroline.
That was straight out.
She'd be hitting the trends, you think?
Yeah.
Mainstream.
She'd be hitting the mainstream
What's
stuff.
the explanation? Explain yourself.
That it has a good beat. I think Jane would
Jane
really...
loved a rhythm.
Jane would really get down with it.
She could get down on the dance floor.
You know what? Maybe she'd like something that's a little bit more classical.
She was
though.
a country girl. Maybe she liked country.
Yeah. So
She
not
could line
not
up.
Cowboy Carter.
Country fans. Oh.
Oh, Payton's not there.
Luke Combs. Noah Khan. Maybe she'd like Noah Khan. She wouldn't like Billie Eilish. Or
don't
any
think
of
so?
those
Never
famous
say
pop
never.
stars. No. Maybe she could do Taste by Sabrina Carpenter.
So you're doing Pink Pony
Sure.
Club.
Pink Pony Club.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if she would have been supportive.
True.
I wonder if she was progressive.
Well, you don't know what was in those letters, my friend.
Very true. Maybe
Yeah.
there was some really good stuff.
Yeah,
You
maybe.
know, I think her sister did the right thing.
I think so.
if you have someone you trust to be discerning, to be like, I'm not going to let anyone mess with this side of her life. I'm going to get rid of that so that no one can touch it.
Also because like it wasn't written for public consumption. It was like
Yeah.
private correspondence.
Yeah.
right? You don't want everyone to know everything about you.
No.
In the age of social media, maybe you do.
Yeah. My karaoke song for her was Common People
Love that song.
by Pulp. And there are layers to it because the song is like from the POV of the guy talking to a girl that he's dating who's like slumming it by dating him,
Yeah.
assuming he's like a working class man or something. But then I was telling my stepdad about this song because I loved it so much, and he was like, "Oh, I hate that song. It's
Aw.
stupid because the singer is rich and he's talking about being poor and being a broke artist." I was like, "What?" Haven't fact checked that. Don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
But some would say that Jane was, you know, ragging on the wealthy class, but then also maybe not acknowledging her own privileges.
Yeah.
So maybe that still applies.
It's interesting that fantasy is still around. Okay, so this is funny. I'm going to out my brother-in-law here. He always says that in Pride and Prejudice that she only wants Darcy for his Pemberleys. And that when she sees his Pemberley, she's right, I mean, and I'm like, yeah, that's the point of the book, partly.
Yeah.
Is that he's seen to be this kind of figure, or like a protective figure now, right?
Yes.
And he's also an option because he's wealthy and all this stuff, but he treats everyone well and he's a good patriarch.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that it's still a fantasy now. It's like I was reading that billionaires are still trending, billionaire heroes, which in 2025 seems weird.
Yeah.
But
I've read a couple recently, and it's like I have to ignore the implications of that because it's like a lot of books will try to make it seem like they are self-made and they did a bunch of labor and they're getting this reward for their labor.
Yeah.
But that's not how billionaires are made. It's passive income streams, owning capital, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
so
blah.
true. They're not on the factory floor when
No,
they're
it
worth $1
doesn't
billion.
happen to anyone.
They're on a yacht enjoying it
Yeah.
while all their managers and all their
They
delegated
own-
tasks
Yeah,
people
they're
doing shit.
landlords and like
and it's not usually the heroine
shareholders and
who's a
stuff.
billionaire. It's still about a patriarchal billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Like in the fantasy of kind of having it easy and not having to work and
Yeah.
doing all that. But it's interesting that endures.
Yeah.
And like back then, you know, Jane Austen isn't talking about the colonies or how Darcy gets all his money probably
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
colonies.
We really do enter like a fantasy land.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Yeah, you
like,
just think
he's
that
a
he's
good
amazing.
billionaire.
Yeah. And they're all wearing those shawls that come from India and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It is.
Yeah,
I felt
it
like
is.
the falling in love with the house thing was adapted really well in Elizabeth of East Hampton's, because in that book it's more like she sees his home and she sees him comfortable in his own space.
Yeah.
And sees a different side
So
of
we're
him.
going to introduce that
Yes.
because next week we're actually going to interview these authors who have, so Audrey Belaza and Emily Harding, who've got a series called, what's it called? The whole
For the Love of
series?
Austen.
For the Love of Austen. And they have adapted first Emma of 83rd Street, and then Elizabeth of East Hampton, and then coming out in October, of Persuasion, my favourite is Anne of Avenue A, and we've all been reading their books and loving them. But that is a really interesting thing in how when they adapt Pride and Prejudice, of
Yeah. They,
who gets to be the rich guy.
Yeah.
So that is really interesting.
and the
Yes.
ethical richness which
Yeah,
they try
ethical,
and put in.
which we
is
so struggle
interesting.
with, don't we?
Yeah.
Ethical
Yeah.
richness.
I just don't know why, but it did actually soften the blow. Like it did make it feel like I could soften the blow. So it worked for me. But I can't wait to talk to them anyway. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Those books are great.
Yeah, they're fun. I've enjoyed them. Oh, we're getting like waved out. We
We're
got so
getting-
busy talking. We forgot what time it is.
Like, are we
I
wrapping
think-
it up?
Do we have to wrap up now? Is to be out of time? Damn it. We didn't even get to more fish or anything.
No, I've been pretty
Pathetic.
quiet, but I think that's for the better.
Next time.
Abby's taking notes about things to look for in the book.
Yeah.
Abby's written
If you
Jane
want, 'cause
Austen
I've got-
underline.
I've got
Writes
highlights
books.
if you want to borrow mine.
I need to
we
like
don't get to talk
really.
about the cousins in Mansfield Park.
Oh, the cousins. Can we save that for
Gosh.
book club? Because
Yeah, we
that's
need
a
something
good
for book
idea.
club.
Yeah, because like there is some stuff that does not translate,
Yeah.
including falling in love with your cousin who was raised as your brother.
Yeah. I was
Absolutely.
saying before that when that happens in books now, they're like step cousins and they
Yeah,
haven't
remember,
seen
they
each
haven't
other
seen you
for
forever.
years.
And
Yeah.
Or they,
I
yeah,
am-
they don't know.
I am going to write a step brother book like after the one. Well, I've got to finish the current one, and then I've got to write another Amy Barrett, and then I'm writing it. but I've sold it
gosh.
already, and
You're
it's
writing a
like
stepbrother
book. And you watch and see if I can carry this one off.
I'm
I'm
interested.
excited for
I
it.
believe in you.
Could this be my first
could
ever
this be the
scathing
fail?
Amy Matthews review?
No shame. I've read books like that. There's always a degree, like I said, of making it okay somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what makes it, and we should save this book club, what makes it okay to date your stepbrother, guys?
Yeah.
Or your
What are the
cousin.
conditions?
And on that note,
Tell us if you've ever had this experience in the comments below.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. And I bet you're all glad you've met Harry Stewart and Payton Hogan. And thanks, Abby, for joining us again.
no worries.
And
just
we
another
look
body
forward-
here, I reckon.
we did learn a lot about dogs.
Yeah, oh
So,
yeah,
yeah.
well, can always provide that.
If there wasn't
always-
somebody there, then the couch would look enormous. Just Amy sitting
And the cat did join us. Lucy joined us for a bit. So join us next week because we're going to be introducing Audrey Blaza and Emily Harding, and we're going to be talking to them about their For the Love of Austen series and about the challenges of adapting Austen to the modern age and what do you have to change. So we'll see you then. Amy And is hosted by Amy Matthews, Abby Guy, Payton Hogan, Justina Ashman, Harry Stewart and Millie Heffernan. This podcast is recorded on Garden Land with music by Anthony Wignall and Mass Wisteria. Our logos and branding are designed by Abby Guy. This episode was edited by Abby Guy.